Hey, everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series. How are you guys doing? It's so nice to see your smiley faces and welcome, gang. We've got an extraordinary show that's coming up with an extraordinary music legend. Yes, a rock and roll Hall of Famer. He is the founder of the Rascals and so much more, and is touring with Felix Cavaliere's Rascals and Mickey Dolenz coming up real soon. You know, Mickey Dolenz, of course, from the Monkees. We are really excited to welcome him to the show live from not New York, where he's originally from, not from Hollywood. He picked a cool spot in the middle, Nashville, Tennessee. He is the king of blue-eyed soul. Of course, we know all of that. If you're a big fan of the Rascals, but also just of Felix and his extraordinary work, he's absolutely amazing. And I want to tell you just a little bit about him because he is going to be chatting with us about some really cool and exciting things that are happening in his life. He has a new memoir, and it's really incredible, and we're excited about that. And as I mentioned, the tour is coming up as well, so we're going to talk about all that in just a second. How's everybody doing today? This is your host, Jim Masters. This is their Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series where we are bringing back that lost art of conversation. That's right. I knew you'd get that. Conversation. And we're doing it in style with all of you. We say hello to the JMS Lovity Squad. Those are those who watch our show, the viewers that watch internationally all the time, literally from around the world they watch. They comment live. Hey, gang, if you'd like to comment live in chat, you can do that when you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV. You can do that. You can comment live. It's a gift for all of our subscribers. There's no cost to subscribe, which is really, really cool. You just click this button you see there, the red button that says subscribe, and be sure and click the notification bell as well so you never miss the notifications about all of our episodes. We've done almost 650 of them live 7 days a week here on the Jim Masters Show Live on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. And if you enjoyed this episode and any of them you enjoy, leave a comment on our YouTube channel and also give it a thumbs up, a hearty thumbs up on our YouTube channel. You see a little icon there that gives you the opportunity to do that. But boy, do we have a music legend on our show or what? We're so honored to have him here. He's really busy right about now because, again, the tour is coming up. He's got the new memoir and a lot of exciting things that are happening in his life. Of course, he founded the Rascals, which had 18 top 40 hits, 5 top 10 hits, 3 number 1 mega hits, including Groovin', Good Lovin', and Beautiful Morning. It's a beautiful morning. You know that song, right? How can I be sure? And so many others. People Got to Be Free. He's got his new autobiography, Memoir of a Rascal, that is out March 22nd as well. And he's joining Mickey Dolenz, the voice of the Monkees, on a multi-city tour this year, part of Legends Live. Felix is, of course, a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Musicians Hall of Fame, Grammy Hall of Fame, Songwriters Hall of Fame, Vocal Group Hall of Fame, Hit Parader Hall of Fame, Hammond Hall of Fame. I think there's no more Hall of Fames. Maybe Baseball Hall of Fame. That's about it. He's Basketball Hall of Fame. He's in all of these, and it's rightfully so because he's been doing this for some 50 years, gang, which is really, really cool. The message for him has always been to stand for peace, love, and happiness for the legendary singer-songwriter. Felix making people feel good is primary to his illustrious 50-year career that includes all of those great Hall of Fames I just mentioned. And few artists claim they have defined a generation as Felix Cavaliere has, and continues to remind us to keep listening for the world's beauty. The classically trained pianist born in Pelham, New York, idolized Ray Charles and Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke. He embraced the Hammond organ and pioneered a fresh rock and roll sound upon leaving for Syracuse University to form the Escorts and become a backup musician for Joe Dee and the Starliters, and later Sandy Scott, who knew that his legendary next stop would be the beginning of an illustrious Hall of Fame career. Who knew? So many incredible hits, so many incredible memories. We're going to talk about it all here on the show coming up in just a second. But again, it is really an honor and pleasure to welcome him. And we welcome all of you. Again, if you'd like to comment during the live show, you can certainly do that in chat. It's a real pleasure. Again, just subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't, and you'll have an opportunity to do that. But without further ado, live and direct from Nashville, Tennessee, poised by the microphone. I think he was born with a microphone near him, like me. Felix Cavaliere is here to rock the house. Hey, Felix, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hello, hello. Good to see you and
You
everyone.
as well. We got two New York kids here in the house tonight, huh?
Yes, sir.
So, welcome. How have you been? It's been a crazy time, and we've had some interesting things we've all sort of gone through. It's definitely been a time of reflection, of great pause, a time to really, think about the simple things in life, the constant things in life, our family, nature, baking bread, all the things, writing music. How have you been, and what are some of the things that you've been doing during all of this crazy time, Felix?
Well, it's been a tough time for all of us in the music industry, entertainment industry. We've taken quite a hit, as far as like work is concerned. And, our people who do production and crews and things like that, they've all been out of work, drivers and you name it. So we're really anxious to get back, on the trail, and that's why it looks like things are opening up. As far as like being able to go out, a lot of the shows that we did were postponed.
Yeah.
Like for example, I'm doing at the end of this month, March, what they call the Flower Power Cruise, which is it's kind of like a 60s,
Yeah.
70s nostalgia madhouse.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
basically, it's been canceled for the last 2 years,
Yeah.
so this should be interesting.
Yeah.
But, we're doing that, and, we're continuing, on the road in Florida, and as you said, we're doing the, Mickey Dolenz, work in June. So
Yeah.
it's really, really, really good to be back to work, let's put it like that, and as far as
Absolutely. Amongst everybody and sharing the music and the good times as you've
Mhm.
done for, again, over your illustrious 50-year career. I know when you look back, you're probably like, Where did the 50 years go? It just went by in a New York minute." But you grew up in Pelham. And what were the early inspirations for you? I mentioned some of the folks that you admired, but were there other folks in your house that were musical? Where did the inspiration for you to get into the musical world come from, Felix?
Well, there's 2 different musical worlds. I mean, the inspiration from my house became, because of, classical music.
Yes.
My mom wanted me to be a classical pianist. So, from the age of 5, I did, 3 lessons a week for about 8 years. And I really got a good education, because, it's important, I think, to know your craft.
Hmm.
And you might as well learn it from the masters because the music is the same. It's the same structures, et cetera, et cetera. But what happened to me, is, and again, this is all in my book, so it's kind of funny, but I happened to be going to junior high, and when you join junior high, you meet a whole group of people that came from other, schools,
Yeah.
and you a gentleman in front of me, was to become one of my best friends, said, "You like rock and roll?" And I said, "Yes," but I had never heard it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what he was talking
What he was
about, but I
talking
didn't
about.
wanna be uncool.
You're right.
So I went home that evening, turned on the radio, and you see, we had the good fortune of you're too young, but in the old days, Alan Freed brought the,
Oh,
rock and
sure.
roll from Cleveland to New York, to
Right.
WINS. And it was
WINS. Yeah.
called a different name at the time. It was called Moondog, and then he brought it to New York, and the title became rock and roll. I heard the very beginning of what was to be, popular music, rock and
Hmm.
roll. So I heard, some of the most talented people, in on the planet.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about some of the names that you mentioned. Being a
Yeah.
piano player, I heard people like Fats Domino playing, Ray
Yeah.
Charles playing, Jerry
Yeah.
Lee Lewis playing. They were all playing the same instrument, Little Richard playing that I played, but I never heard anybody play it like that. So it was kind of like a real kind of, you know, magic moment. So I mean, I couldn't believe what I was hearing, and I couldn't identify with it because literally I had not ever heard anything like that, and
Yeah.
so that really was my beginning.
But there was also a potential medical career, huh? That you
Yeah,
were
well, yeah.
poised for?
Well, that was the original plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the original plan. I went to Syracuse, and I happened to go at the same time as Lou Reed. you know,
Yeah.
and uh, I've always, I mean, since that uh, eighth grade, ninth grade,
Mm.
I've always had or been with a band of some sort.
Yeah.
You know, and in grade school, I mean, in the junior high, I joined a band that we did mostly like you know, weddings and bar mitzvahs and
Right.
proms and basketball games and and then when I went to college, you know, I started a band which is called you know, Felix and the Escorts, and we played for all the frat parties and the homecoming games, and we did a couple of clubs because you know, we were supposed to be there to study, so we got a little in the way,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you know, basically that's what happened is I started there, and from there it just evolved into a career. Uh,
Were people starting to notice the sound and the technique and, the professionalism? What was happening where you were starting to get the fanfare, the notoriety to where then you were able to, in 65,
right.
found the Young Rascals, a legendary group?
Yeah, you know, it's just music, you know, what was coming out really strong at this time. Now, this was down during the era now where the twist was in. You
Yes.
know, and you know, of course, college kids they always like music, you know, party
Mhm.
music, and you know, and so if you do it and you do it good and you do it well,
Yeah.
uh, people respond, you know,
Yeah.
and they liked what I was doing and they liked what we were doing, and you know, I really, to be quite honest, never thought that I would, you know, do it as a career, you know, and it just happened. It happened through a series of events that changed my life, you know. I mean, it really did, and it pushed me into a direction that I said, "Well, yeah, okay, that's where you want me to be. That's where I'll go."
Yeah.
The plan was not that, though. It was
Was
not the
not
plan.
that. What was maybe one thing that really stood out for you that pointed you in that direction where you felt confident and comfortable enough to really plunge into the musical world? Because as we know, it's unpredictable. It's, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of hours, a lot of commitment to it. And you got to be in at 110%, as you obviously have been and still are. What was like a pivotal thing for you that said, okay, you know what, we're really going to give it a serious shot?
Well, we had a number of issues in those days. The first being the draft. You know, you had to deal with Uncle Sam before you could really embark on any type of a you know, a serious endeavor, whatever the career might be. But what happened? We'll take my junior year. I left to go to the Catskill Mountains for a summer and work there in a place called the Raleigh Hotel. And in the Raleigh Hotel, they would bring in stars, so to speak, every weekend to headline, you know, the bill. And one of the groups that came in was this group called Joe Dee and the Starliters, which they had a number of hits called the Peppermint Twist, and you know what kind of love is this, et cetera, et cetera. And to make a story kind of like short, because as I say, this is all in the book. They saw me,
Yeah.
and you know, again, this was a life changing event, not
Yeah.
the life changing one, but a. And
Yeah.
I met, you know, for example, the brother of who was to be my writing partner, Eddie Brigatti,
Mm.
because he was in that band. And then they went away to Europe, and
Wow.
they were on tour. And all of a sudden, unbeknownst to them, their organ player decided that he wanted to go home. He had, I guess, recently been married. So they contacted me to join them in Europe. So instead of going back to another year of Syracuse, I went to Europe. And here's where the eclectic, elliptical, however you want to put it, moment happened. We worked in clubs, and this was a long time ago. There was this group opening up for Joey
Yeah.
called the Beatles,
Yes.
and they
Mm.
were on stage before we were on.
Mm.
And you know, I've described this in depth in the book,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
what it did is it showed me first of all how much fun it was to be a musician, and I mean it was great. seeing everybody screaming and hollering. I wasn't quite sure what they were screaming and hollering at yet, but
Right.
the world was about to find out. Not too long after that, they came to the United States. But from a musical point of view, to be serious, I just realized, I think I could do this,
Yeah.
and I think it's a lot of fun. But why not?
Yeah.
But it was a real epiphany. It was a moment of saying like, "Wow, man, I know I could do this. This is cool."
So then it was, let's put the band together
Mm.
and find, the guys and the team and fellow, musicians and performers. How did you go about doing that? Were these folks that you already knew and were friends, or what was that process like of putting, the Young Rascals together?
Well, I say this a lot because there's like a divine guidance up there,
Yeah.
that if we just follow the leader, you know what I mean, it guides you into places. Well, there they are. Look at those fellas. When I
Good
came
looking
back from
group.
Europe,
Yeah.
what a motley crew that was. When I came back from Europe, Joey had a club in New York called the Starlighter, and he wanted a house band.
Hmm.
And the two gentlemen here, the Gene Cornish on the left, and then Eddie in the front, were singing with this band. And Joey asked me if I would like to, join the group because, I really, had to make a living, so I was working there. And then, as I say, the drafts issue came up, and
Yeah.
basically, uh, once that was behind me, and the
Yeah.
reason it's behind me is because they were pretty selective in the early days of Vietnam there. They
Yeah.
they they didn't want, I had long hair, and they kinda looked at me like, "Yeah, I don't know if he can even carry a gun," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't look too strong, this guy, and, long story short, when that happened, I went back and I asked the fellas, "You guys wanna try something on our own?" And a lady that I was seeing introduced me to this phenomenal drummer who was in that picture also, Dino Danelli. He was not part of that. He was on his own. And I said, "Why don't we give it a try?" There he is, there hiding in the back. Why don't we give it a try? And the premise that I had was, again, hearing the Beatles. I thought the Beatles were mostly a singing group. I thought that their
Yeah.
their real strong point at that time. No one really knew of their writing expertise yet. You didn't know that that was what was coming was to be astounding. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, wow. So how about if I get great singers, great players? A lot of groups have one person that stands out,
Yeah.
and we had four. We had four people that were like, either the leaders of their band or they were really good. So we had a deal in 6 months, literally. Yeah.
Isn't that
We started
incredible?
and we did. Well, it was incredible because the time was right, the
Yeah.
group was right,
The group was
and
right.
somebody was smiling at us because we had a lot of obstacles prior to that happening, but basically, the fellow in the front there, Eddie, he had a pretty bad car accident
Yeah.
during that period of time, and so he was not even available,
Yeah.
for what so it was close call, but, that's what happened, and then we got discovered, so to
Yeah.
speak, at this place called The Barge, which was in Long Island, which you're familiar with because it's in the
Sure.
Hamptons,
Right.
and then from there, the Magical Mystery Tour just kept on going and kept on going, for quite a while until unfortunately, it's self-destructive, which is a shame.
It's and it's very hard to, soak that in sometimes for fans when you have a power couple that are together and they split, or you hear that people that work together on a movie or a television series just all go in different directions, or any of the major groups like yours, everybody sort of just wraps up. The fans don't want to let that happen or let that go because they're so intertwined. There's so many memories, so many important moments that have happened in their lives, and those incredible songs that you guys
Mm.
penned and performed
Hmm.
are parts of their lives forever. And when they hear them even now, they reflect to that very special time in their life when that's what was on the radio, that's what was playing in the car, that's what they heard wherever they were, and that moment. And sometimes it's hard to, how could that happen, but you move on and all. But during the time when, the Rascals were really doing their thing, that had to be, I mean, Ed Sullivan, what was it like getting on
It
Ed
was it was
Sullivan?
it was a lot of fun. I mean, and it really was a lot of fun, and it was exciting.
Yeah.
All of the above, and please, I mean, not only the fans were disappointed, but I was disappointed, very
Yeah.
disappointed. This
Yeah.
was like a family, you
Sure.
know. And well, you asked about Ed Sullivan. Well, the Ed Sullivan show was very different from.
Yeah.
I don't know if your listeners if they remember that. Hopefully
Oh,
they
sure,
do.
they do.
You
Yeah.
think? Yeah. You
Oh,
look
yeah.
so young, my man. I don't know, but how
Why,
cool.
thank you. I
Yes,
appreciate that. My
Ed
father has
Sullivan.
always said, whenever anybody says something kind or nice, ask them to please put it in writing and address it management.
Thank you. See, Ed Sullivan was a columnist prior
That's
to
right.
being on TV. He was,
TV host.
in those days, the newspapers had a certain section that a person would. In other words, if you wanted publicity, there was no Facebook. There was, basically you went to the columnist, you went to the people, and they put your name in the paper under the entertainment section. Anyway, he was like a Walter Winchell. And
Yeah.
the powers at CBS decided we're going to give this gentleman, Mr. Sullivan, a stipend. We're going to give him like a however many $1,000 to put a show together every Sunday night. So it was very different from what came after that, because after that we were all union, and basically we just got a separate fee, which
Right.
pretty much everybody. Prior to that, he gave us the full price of a concert to do the show.
Wow. Wow.
So it was very different,
Yeah.
and it was very interesting because the show literally started Monday morning, bright and early, 7 a.m. You showed up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then on Saturday, you would have a complete run through with an audience, but not televised. And then on Sunday was the show live. And it was just magic, because the fact that, unlike today when everything is pretty much taped, or, I don't know if that's the correct word anymore, but you have a certain time frame. I mean, in other words, like I have to speak for 10 seconds and then, we get a commercial. I have to speak for 30 seconds and then we get an act. Those time structures, when you're live like that, they're pretty interesting, especially with Ed up on the stage there, because he would see people in the audience that he knew, or who, when you see people, it kind of distracts you. And there goes the 15 seconds. It's now 18 seconds, 19 seconds. Well,
Yes.
okay, now somebody's got to make up 3 or 4 seconds in the next act, or in the following. It was chaos,
Yeah. Yeah.
because he was an older guy, I mean,
Yeah.
basically, and he and I think, he was just a, kind of like I'm going to do what I want up here, and he did. you know
Yeah. Right.
so it
Exactly.
was really, really interesting, and I could tell you a ton of stories of
Yeah.
the wonderful people that we met backstage
Mm.
in those dressing rooms, who, they're legendary comedians, and, we even met
Yes.
that little puppet,
Oh, you did, huh?
oh, yeah. I mean, when you've watched that all your life, and now you're there and you're in the green room, in the dressing room, and all
Uh,
these people are around you.
yeah.
Great memories of that. Some of them were a little rough on us. Some of those
Yeah.
comedians, sometimes they bite your head off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but some of them, like you just go like, "Oh man, I love you." Wow. It's just interesting being around backstages.
I think we had a mutual friend who just recently passed. She actually a very close dear friend of mine and of our family, Ronnie Spector.
Oh yeah.
Had you
Oh, of course.
worked
Yeah.
with or met or yeah,
Many times. Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, the last time we lived in Connecticut, and so did she.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Our families
yeah,
there. Yeah.
Ronnie was great. Great. You know that she was very special. And I
Yeah.
knew her when she was married to Phil, and
Yeah.
the best part of the story is that her husband, Jonathan, Jonathan, of course.
Sure.
Well, his dad was my proctologist. So there you go.
Ah, really?
Yes, yes, Stamford, Connecticut. So I just thought
At
that would be a
Danbury
little
Hospital.
aside.
Danbury
There he
Hospital
is.
there.
There he was. Anyway, and I
Small
feel for him
world, huh?
because yeah, she was. She was a great girl. She really was. She was. Not only
Full of
talented.
spunk. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
great. She was a great, and I knew her, gosh, since I was 16, 17 with when she was with her
Really?
cousins and sister.
Yeah.
Yes,
She grew
yeah.
up in Spanish Harlem in Washington Heights. Yeah. Yeah. And you were in Pelham. A lot
Yeah,
of
but
talent.
I knew her
Yeah.
from when she started going to work, I don't know
Yes.
exactly when she was a kid, real kid, but she was a kid then, but still she
Yeah.
was a talented kid, singing, great girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're losing a
Absolutely.
lot of folks, it's a tough time out there, especially this Ukrainian thing that's going on right now
This
is
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 tough.
really this is something to behold, let me tell you.
When you were penning these fantastic songs, I mean, these songs stand the test of time. When you hear these songs now, you feel good. I mean, you
Oh,
feel good.
sure.
Beautiful Morning. I mean, you
Yeah.
even hear them used in commercials and everything else these days. How do you describe? I mean, other people have their take on things, but I love to ask the creators, the people who are actually doing the work, how do you describe the Rascals sound? It's unique. It's special.
Yeah, well, as I say, the sound of it, is an interesting sound because the basis for the live show, was again the vocals, the Hammond organ, and a really, really great drummer, and, when you put those elements together, the vocals and the rhythm, it's pretty much that's what makes it stand the test of time because of the fact that it was good music. It was harmonic music. It was sweet music, and then the songs were kind of like upbeat and happy, and I think people can relate to that, you know, in their inner selves. They feel that. I have so many stories of people who were, you know, affected by that music. Uh,
Did I hear you say something once that you were at a dentist and he was getting ready to drill and he was telling you how one of the songs
yes.
uh,
Leave it at that, yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of things, we have people that,
was very special to him at a very
well, what happens is as
intimate
the years
moment?
go by, and you do, like, the so-called meet and greets after the
Yeah,
shows,
yeah,
you hear a lot of stories, some of them which really, really twist your heart because, that somebody will come up and say, "My brother or my sister, adored you guys, man," and,
yes,
like, she played it or he played it until they passed, and, it gets a little tougher as you get older, but,
sure.
when you feel, people, that like, for example, went to Japan a few times, and I know I'm really not sure that they really understood the words, but they felt the music, and it was in obvious in the way they responded to the shows. They were, like, joyous, just like kids, like, just like I had one guy come up to me and he said, "I want to be your son." You know? It's just fun. It's
Wow,
just great. And so, when people
that's cool
respond to you like that, I mean,
in
you
that
you
way.
have to really like it. I mean, it's gotta make you feel good because you made them feel good. A lot of stories. I
Absolutely.
mean, like I say, I have a lot of these in the book, and, it's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience to do this.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's really incredible. And congratulations on that book. You obviously it was the Young Rascals first, but then signed to Atlantic Records, now called the Rascals. And that mega hit, Good Lovin', struck number one in February 1966, followed by a string of hits. But when you hit number one with Good Lovin', that fantastic song, what was that experience and feeling like for you and the rest of the Rascals? It must have been extraordinary.
It was. Yeah, I mean, it was first of all, it was unexpected, you know, because who knew seriously that song would be that big a hit? No one knew, I think Atlantic probably heard, you know, the possibility, but it still resonates in the same way with audiences. As soon as people hear that song, especially live, they're up and dancing. But I remember vividly, we were in those days. If you wanted to have uh, a, a hit record, especially a number one record, you had to travel United States. You had to go certainly from the East Coast all the way up to Boston, through Connecticut, and then out to the West Coast to
Yeah.
LA, for example, especially LA. Well,
Yeah.
that's when it hit number one, when we hit the Whiskey Go Go out in LA. We unified the country to have
Yes.
the hit record. There's no feeling you really can't describe, especially when you're with a group, because here you are with, your peers and your buddies and your friends, and you made it. You hit this thing on it's just it's really a great feeling.
Mm.
You kind of experience it like, when you walk into, for example, a department store or something, and
Yeah.
you hear up in the elevator or something like that, you hear one of your songs, you have to smile
Yeah. Yeah.
because no one really knows that's you walking through there, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Unless they're a
Exactly.
little older, but anyway, it is always a joy.
It's gotta be,
It
yeah.
is.
It's gotta be. Just it's decades of incredible music, followed by, again, a suit of incredible songs. I've Been Lonely Too Long, and, How Can I Be Sure? Another
Mm,
fantastic one.
mm,
A Girl Like You. How Can I Be Sure? That's a particular favorite of many as well,
mm.
and there it is.
There it is.
Tell us about that. Were you Was some of the songs that were being written tied to, relationships in your
Yes,
life at the time?
yes. And that
Yeah,
particular one,
yeah. How can I
they use
There
the
it is
word
there.
muse, M-U-S-E, as
Yes,
person,
yeah.
yes.
Like a
And
muse,
I
yeah.
had a muse, and, all those songs from that period were written about her.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden, it's kind of like, how can I be sure? Am I doing the right thing here? I'm kind of young. She's kind of young. We're contemplating marriage, and I don't know. Got to be sure. How can I be sure?
how can I be
Exactly.
sure?
And that
Yeah,
was the end of that physical, relationship. Because it was always, in my heart. But I mean, just saying that, changed it right there. Uh, it was really strange because it happened quite unexpectedly. Just
yeah,
like the meeting, happened, I've Been Lonely Too Long started that, but that's what happens, in life.
yeah,
And, if you're aware of those people in your lives,
right.
and, you pay attention to them, uh, it works.
And it works, exactly.
It works.
Yeah. You mentioned, also, or I mentioned A Girl Like You, but then came A Beautiful Morning,
Mhm.
which is just, whenever you hear it, and I know you did a revamped version of it recently too. What what inspired that song? Because that song has been used in
Mm.
so many different ways, and it's so hopeful and it's so positive. And it's a song that even right now, today, with all the craziness of everything we see going on in the world and here at home, you put that on, and all of a sudden, all the negativity seems to just wash away, my friend. You
Well,
were onto
that's what
something
was
early.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of stories behind that, and the easiest story is the one I tell on stage, which is that we were in Hawaii, writing this wave of, grooving was number one, and the sun was shining. But the real story behind it, the serious story behind it, is that at this juncture in my life, I had the really good fortune of meeting a guru.
Oh, yeah.
See,
That's cool.
I
Yeah.
met, Swami Satchidananda, who was, the gentleman who opened up the Woodstock,
Oh, yeah. Right.
festival. And, again, this is all documented. It really, it changed me from, oh, it's hard to describe the change, because all of a sudden now, besides having the so-called success that you're having earthly, you are now having success inside, whether you want to call it spiritually or, emo- when you experience like the joy that these people have, that they've
Yes.
attained by years and years of work,
Yeah.
it just comes out. It comes out in your music, and it comes out in your daily life. And if you see the faces of most of these, gurus, they're like happy. They're really, really happy. And I mean that, why not? They've got no problems, you know.
Right. Exactly.
So that was during that period of time, when bliss had entered the life, and
How did that
You know,
help you? How did in exploring that and
oh, many
investigating
ways,
that
many
part
ways.
of you help you? And then did it also translate into the music as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, you have to be careful because, well, anyway, that's the other side of the story. The first part of the story is how did it help me? Well, first of all, my health, physically and mentally, has stayed pretty good for many years. I mean, I'm late 70s now, and I see a lot of people who are late 40s and 50s that are in pretty bad shape. So just that alone, because of the physical nature of it, the what they call the nature, hatha yoga. If you learn how to move your body and keep doing it, your body says thank you when you get older, and it really it kind of lets you know that just keep doing this, you'll be fine.
Right.
And
Right.
also mentally, the reason that people seek out uh, rabbis or priests or gurus is because they have certain needs, that they want fulfilled or answered. And I had a lot of those, and the simplest one is the question of the business I was in. My dad would tell me, like, my dad was a dentist. They were in the, I'm a dentist from the day I passed my tests, put my shingle up
Right.
until I decided to retire. But you, my son, better keep having hit records or you're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you think about that. You have a hit
Yeah.
record and then you don't have a hit record. And then you
One
don't
hit
have a hit
wonder.
record.
Yeah.
You're gone.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are very young when that happens. And
Did you feel that pressure
oh, you when
during
you
it?
you'll become aware of it, you say like, "Oh my god, this is a slippery ship we're on, folks," like,
We gotta
"Whoa."
we gotta do
You're
it
a
again and
if
do it
you're a
again and
doctor, you're a doctor, I mean, if you're a
right.
lawyer, you're a lawyer. I mean, it's there. Nothing is there with this business. And that's why, I tell young people, "Be careful because this is not a steady ship here." You know,
Right.
there's
Right.
nothing steady about it. And
Mm-mm.
Lord knows,
Right.
so, I mean, that's another subject. I mean, you try to have a second profession or something like that so you can eat. I mean,
Right,
it's nice to eat.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
those kind of things, when you meet someone like him, and I'm very young, you can ask like a sounding board, and his answer, if anybody would be interested, is, "Wow, how old are you?" And I was like in my 20, early 20. He says, "You're very lucky." I said, "Why is that?" He said, "Because it's all like that." I said, "What do you
Mm.
mean?" He says, "Well,
Mhm.
every profession has this same slippery slope, only people don't know it. It happens maybe later, but it happens to you real young, so you know what you have to do." And basically, what he was telling us is that the answer is not out here; the answer is in here.
Mm.
And
Mm.
just that alone said, "Oh, okay,
Right.
wow, really?"
Exactly.
He said, "Really." And so, basically, those type of information, health
Yeah.
wise, spiritual wise, mental wise, diet wise, certainly
Yeah.
diet wise. Uh, you have to say thank you because I might not have been able to entertain when I'm in my 70s. I might not have been able to think.
You still you so you learned early, which is really, really cool and really, really important, and held on to those words, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
It's an interesting philosophy, and again, I try to really spend a lot of time on that in the book so people can realize what it
Yeah.
is, seriously, every 12 years of our life, every cell changes.
Yes.
So if it's influenced by
What you're doing and what's
somebody like
happening.
that,
Yeah.
that's 12 years of you're going to be all right. you know,
Which
yeah. It's easy to
that's
to drop off the planet, and a lot of my friends, a lot of
are
peers
and have and
have
yeah.
had. I mean, and it's also Jimi Hendrix, and Janis
Yes.
Joplin, and we hear about it all the time. They just blow it out, man, and it's too bad because it's not necessary. It's really not necessary. That's not your story unless you make it your story. The end coming quickly.
I think maybe having that medical background a little bit early too gave you a little heads up there
Yeah,
in
well, a lot
knowing
of
you got to
reasons.
take
We're
care of
all,
yourself.
creatures of our, of our youth experiences, and
Yes.
whether whether hopefully they're good experiences that you can learn from, and not bad experiences that you can want to run away from.
Oh, absolutely. Uh, People Gotta Be Free, number 1
Mm,
in '68, and of course, the Rascals is considered the best, blue-eyed soul group to come out of the '60s and tons of record sales. Um, when you were creating People Gotta Be Free,
mm.
tell us a little bit about that very powerful song.
Very powerful time right then. We were in turmoil at that time because of you know the war in Vietnam, Martin Luther King, and then we got to the '68, and and we were working for Robert Kennedy's campaign. He was running for president, and I was seeing a lady at that time who was actually present at that horrible event out in Los Angeles when he was killed after winning a primary. And that song was a direct result of that event because when people are involved in someone's campaign like that, you really get involved
Yes.
emotionally.
Yes.
And it was a big blow to many of us, because of the fact that we all believed that this particular person is going to really make a big difference, in our world,
Yeah.
and so it was a major, major, major slap, and we'll never know what would have happened if. But that's how that song came out. It came out as I've got to say something. We got to make a statement here. And the
Yeah.
record company did not think that was the best idea they ever
They were
heard because
nervous?
yeah, they like today it's even worse. I mean, like if you
Oh,
want to make a
yeah.
political statement today, you have to be pretty brave because we look at what happened to the Dixie Chicks and
Well, now
they're
you
just
can't if you, blink a certain way, you could be out,
yeah, which is
right?
crazy. I mean, like that's your opinion. It's okay. I don't hate you because you have an opinion. I mean, a different opinion. Really, that's silly.
Comedians are having a rough time too now. They don't know what to say and not to say. Yeah.
No, I mean, what? Why? I mean, like I say, I mean, isn't that what we're supposed to? I mean, does God make the flowers all the same friggin' color and the same shape? No, that'd be pretty boring. My fruits and vegetables, they're all the same. Are they all yellow or orange? Or, you
Right.
know,
Right.
so it's just silly
Like Mary
and
Travers
unfortunate.
said, "Where have all the flowers gone?"
Yeah, another dear lady. God, she had
She
some great people, man. They were so
oh,
cool.
I
Peter,
had the
Paul, and
opportunity
Mary.
I had the through my work on PBS, I had an opportunity to
I
interview
bet.
all of them,
Great.
and, just, what a wicked
Fantastic.
sense of humor that Mary Travers
She was
had. Oh,
great.
she was
I'm so happy I
fantastic.
got to know her, and,
Oh,
I know Peter and Paul and,
oh, yeah.
like and, Mary, I mean, they were really good too.
Good
Really
people.
talented.
Good,
Yes.
absolutely great people. Then in the '70s, you guys experimented with more jazz influenced
Mm,
sounds when you moved over to Columbia Records. Tell us about that, dabbling in a little bit more of a jazz infusion.
mm. The radio stations, it switched from AM to FM,
Yeah, they started putting all the music on the FM for the more high fidelity sound, and yeah,
and the format changed because, AM was pretty strict with the time of songs. For example, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, 35
yeah,
seconds was the norm.
right,
And then FM came along, and now a lot of groups, uh, you know, we're jamming, we're playing,
yeah, yeah,
and we were really never able to do that in the AM part of the career because of the fact that AM was the outlet. That was it. And I really wanted to just show some of the talent that was around in those days in our group, even though the group was a new group at that time.
yeah, right,
Stretch out, just stretch out, you know.
right.
And the interesting thing about that is that the audiences look at that like an affront, like I thought you were a rascal. What is this? This is
Right.
this is
Right.
so it's really difficult to. However, other places in the world reacted very very highly to that. Like for example, this album came out in the early what was it? 70s, yes. Uh, before digital had kind of gotten into the mainstream, it was not a CD. There were no CDs. You know, there were no DVDs, but there also were no CDs. So basically, in Japan, they had a vote to take an analog album, which was prior to that 1973, 75, and turn it into a digital CD. And Peaceful World won that. So we became a digital album, by vote, which was pretty interesting, pretty cool. I thought I like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then 72 comes, and that's a really important year as the Rascals disbanded. But your solo career just thrived, and you
Yeah.
released the self-titled debut album with Todd Rundgren, of course, as producer helm at the helm there. And your follow-up albums, Destiny in 74, Castles in the Air, another fantastic, you
Oh,
know, another fantastic song. That produced another top 40 hit, Only a Heart Sees, which reached number 2. Dreams in Motion in 94. And then even in 2008, you collaborated with Stax guitar legend Steve Cropper on the Grammy nominated Nudge It Up a Notch. And again in 2010 with Midnight Flyer. Just prolific, my friend, just going and
yeah.
going and
Well, like I
going.
say, if you enjoy what you do, it's pretty easy, and living in Nashville makes it even easier because everybody here, most of the people here are playing music or want to play music. So
That's
it's really
right.
great.
Yeah, we were talking before we went live on the air. You moved to Nashville around the 90s, early 90s,
Actually, late 80s, yes.
late 80s, and it's changed quite a bit, right? It was a little bit
Oh,
more
wow.
of a
Yeah.
quieter. I mean, it was still a
Not
hub, but
anymore.
yeah, and people would always think more country music, but it's everything now,
It's everything with a capital E. We are the
huh?
bachelorette capital of the United States now. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yes.
Yes, we're the bachelorette capital, and we've got a football team, we've got a hockey team, and we've got a madhouse going on down here. Let me tell you, this place has changed. I run into some of the Nashvillians who were here, many many years before I got here, and they're still going, they don't know what hit them down here. It's really something else. The boom has really, it's really changed.
Yeah, but you love it, right?
Well, I like it because
Yeah.
of the music community. I tell all of the so-called Hazarai, whatever you want to call the madness
Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah.
I'm not that crazy about it. I like, this was like, for example, downtown we had this area called Music Row,
Yeah.
which is is historic. It was historic because this is where all the Johnny Cashes and Elvis Presley came here, and Willie Nelson was here, Waylon Jennings was here. A lot of the recordings that Everly Brothers, Chet Atkins, they're almost all gone now. You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
that was the quaint part of what was here is this Music Row kind of vibration, this energy
Yes.
that was here. And Memphis was the place where the R&B was, and this was the place where the so-called country was. But the songwriting has always been here. This
Has
is where
always
the
been
songs
there.
were emanated from,
Yeah.
and being a songwriter is really why I came down here.
Yeah. Right. Right, exactly, because you are that, and a prolific and an extraordinary one. As I said, your music just touches generations of people. You know what's really cool is how generations younger are now discovering for the first time for them vinyl. I mean, I still have my Onkyo stereo system. I've got all my vinyl cassette decks. I got
Fantastic.
reel to reel tapes. I've got it all.
Wow.
It's in a
Really?
climate controlled storage bin. I've got sealed LPs where you buy one to play and one you keep sealed. I mean, I have
Wow.
all of that, and the KLH speakers. I like my music not forced in little earphones. I like it to
Mhm.
fill the house.
There
I
you
like it
go.
to
Good for
bounce
you.
off the walls.
Yeah.
I like it to sometimes come from behind me, the speakers, and then sweep over me. And I got the big speakers, and there's just something about that, the warmth, the depth to it, as opposed to the highly compressed, flat sounds, louder sounds that are sort of out there. I mean, your music
Mm.
pure, and the Rascals pure. Really when you hear it, you feel the depth and the warmth, and you hear the instruments, and it just really sort of sweeps you up. And that's something that was very important to you, right? And still
Well, it's kind of
is.
like the movies, you know. I mean, if you see the effects that are in the movies now, they were impossible before digital came in. I mean,
Take
they're
forever to do it or
I mean,
cost a
it's
fortune.
impossible. I mean, like I say, they're morphing, animals into like, people into, metal to, but it's the same thing. The technology is the difference between then and now. The way I say it is basically, like in the old days, like just a thing like Microsoft Word. You don't have to spell anymore. We'll fix you right up. Well, the same thing with music. I mean, if you have any kind of like vocal errors, we'll fix you right up. I mean, there was nothing like that in those days. So you either were a good singer
Yeah.
or you didn't make records.
Now, as a prolific, songwriter, singer, record producer, musician, all of the above, did you yourself personally have a preference? Some people prefer the studio work. Some people love on stage and being
Mm.
amongst everybody and having it happen live. Do you have a preference, or just all of the above?
Well, all of the above certainly, but the studio has changed so much now. That uh, for example, I did a song before the pandemic actually with two young fellas from Canada came down to Nashville, and and they were doing this. They had a special project that they were doing, and it was it was a great idea, and I hope it continues because the COVID kind of they were writing with people who were like Songwriter Hall of Fame writers, and they were doing their version with us. In other words, we would sit down and write a song together. Now I've got a studio here. I've got a studio. It's nothing like we used to have. And, studios used to cost $2 million, $3 million. And but they came in with a little laptop, and, and we wrote the song on the. I said, "Don't you want to use my?" No, no, we will use our little laptop, and made a whole song, and it
On
was
the
good.
on the laptop, yeah.
So I mean, the studio experience is very different now.
Yeah.
It's me in a box, you
It
know,
is. It is.
where the live has not changed. You're still on stage, and those of us who do not use enhancements on stage, we still sing and play. The mistakes are there, and just like the vinyl records, they skip once in a while. So do we. So the
Yeah.
live thing has taken over, I think, over the studio thing. However, when you do get into a real studio with real, phenomenal sound, and orchestras and things like that, that's a lot of fun also.
So you created, for those who, of course, are still very familiar with the Young Rascals and then the Rascals, and then some of your independent work, Felix Cavaliere's Rascals.
Right.
Tell us about that, and for folks who want to maybe check out the concerts and learn
Hmm.
more about the continuation of this great sound.
Well, I have a website, felixcavalieremusic.com, where all of this is shown where we're going to be. Basically, the musicianship down here in Nashville is astounding. People have moved here from both coasts because of the fact that there is work here.
Yes.
And if you want to be a musician, you want work. And so I've had a band here almost 20 years now,
Mm,
with the same members. There's been a few that have changed, like just as far as they either go on to other things, but for the most part, we've kept the unit together, and we call ourselves Felix Cavalier's Rascals. They're younger people who kind of grew up with the music, and they're just great players.
mm,
And what I love about them is the enthusiasm that they bring to the stage.
yeah.
They love playing, and thankfully they love playing my music. So we really have a good time.
So for folks who haven't seen one of the concerts yet, and you're about to embark on a tour, as I mentioned, with the incomparable Mickey Dolenz, of course, from the Monkees, what can people expect? What is, I mean, obviously, you guys have a really good time. You play with the audience. It's all great songs. Are they hearing some of the Rascals' legendary hits and then some new material? Is it a mix? What can people expect when they come to one of your shows, Felix?
Well, a lot of that has to do with the time that you're playing. Like if you're doing a concert by yourself, you can really do a lot of different things. But when you're doing with two acts, it kind of limits your time period.
Yeah.
I feel that the people that come to see me want to hear what they knew,
Yes.
and so what I do is I tell them, I play the hits, in other words, but we do them in a kind of a unique way where we kind of involve them. Uh, our generations uh, were tuned into one another via the music. We
Yeah.
didn't have the Facebooks and
Social media.
we didn't have it at all, and our social media was our music.
Yeah.
People were really united, uh, listening to, Paul, and, I say this on stage, and because of what would happen in their lives would be immediately translated into their next album and the next songs. I try to recreate that with the audience, and by that, I put little vignettes of songs that they know in there, and I ask them to sing them.
Yeah.
Just little bits, maybe 35, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, something like that,
Yeah.
and, they really like that, because all these memory banks that are in these people's, subconscious come out, and I
Yes.
think, we had a pretty good group of folks in those days. We had our troubles, we had our tragedies, but there was a unity that was there that I really wish we could attain again in
Yeah.
this country.
I think we are long overdue for it. I agree. Yeah, some of this can really bring people back together in a empathetic way. We talk a lot about that on the show, actually, hoping we come out of all this more kinder and more empathetic and more unified. Everybody's at the table. We all caring about one another. I know it sounds Pollyanna, but I keep saying, what's wrong with a little Pollyanna every once in a while? We don't want everything real and raw 24/7. Our bodies and minds don't want real and raw constantly. You got to have some fantasizing, some daydreaming. You got to create, and out of that comes creation, right, my
So you have
friend?
other guests on the show that speak about other things besides music, and
Yes,
yeah, well, that's
life and
important. As I
experiences.
say,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like I felt in those days, that it's important that I make a statement. It's important that you make a statement, because if you want to spread that, spread it,
right,
because we need it.
exactly.
I mean, we really need it right now.
Yeah,
This is a serious time to be alive. It really is,
yeah.
and we don't need to be at odds. I mean, I used to tell my children all the time, "You've got the whole world to fight with. Don't fight with one another." And that's how I feel about Americans. We should be together. We really need to be together now.
Have your kids followed in your footsteps?
No, they know what this business is really like.
They've seen, yeah.
There's no illusions here.
Any dentists in the family now?
Oh, many,
Besides,
many, but they're not my kids. But yeah, my family is still all pretty much involved in some form of a medical fields, either
yeah.
pharmacy or chemistry or
Oh, that's cool.
dentistry, or
Yeah.
it's great, because I'm proud of that heritage. And not too
Yeah.
many musicians, and
Well,
that's a good thing, I think.
you as they say, and there's such truth to it, as you know, Felix, music is healing. I just had a guy on the other night who's a prolific writer and journalist and publicist in Los Angeles. He was on an episode. He was featured on Inside Edition and CBS and everywhere else. And he, young guy, he contracted COVID. First, his
Uh-huh.
kid did, and then he did, and the whole family, his wife, his 3 kids, all of it, but it hit him extraordinarily hard.
Wow,
He was bedridden in the hospital, ICU.
wow.
He had to say a goodbye. He had us play it on the show. It was very moving. It was on, again, Inside Edition as well, but he had to do a goodbye with the oxygen mask on. He couldn't talk. And, in his 40s, COVID really
Wow.
nailed him
Jeez,
big time.
40s.
And he had to have the tracheostomy and the whole
Wow.
thing. He survived, but he lost his voice. And one of his friends, an opera singer, actually came to then see him after all of this near-death experience, and in the recovery started showing him how to sing opera, because some of the technique that opera singers use is similar to trying to get the voice to come back after things like, tracheotomy and things of that nature.
Wow.
And his voice came back.
Wow.
So what I'm leading to sort of bind this all together is, you might not have gone in to become the proctologist or the dentist. However, the medicinal purposes that come out of music and the healing that comes out of all of this music that you have gifted us over the years and continue to generations of people, and is a legacy you've created that will go well beyond, the lights, camera, action, is a form of healing and medicine. So you did go into it, but
Yeah,
just
well, I
in a
like to think,
different
so
route.
that's very kind of you. I agree totally. Music is a very powerful healing force, and it should be paid attention to with that in mind, because some of the musics that are out there, they hit in a different way, and but there's so many spirituals, and there's so many songs that really move you into thinking about really kindness and gentleness and love and peace and, oh my God, happiness. You remember those words? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, happiness, joy, all of that, joy to the
What a
world,
concept,
and
happiness and joy. Yeah.
yeah, all of these. You wrote this book, and we want to give credit for that fabulous photo there. That photo,
Yeah.
copyright 1967, Paul McCartney, photographer Linda McCartney, and that is generously being used here. We appreciate that. Memoir of a Rascal. What inspired you? And we're so glad that you wrote this. And what inspired you to do it?
Well, it's pretty simple. I mean, basically, we did this tour. We did this Broadway show called Once Upon a Dream
Yeah, that's right.
in the 2012, 2013. And at this, uh, as we were publicizing it, they were press conferences.
Yeah.
And the four of us would be up, on the stage, and we'd take questions from the press. And
Right.
I noticed that every single one of us had a different answer for the same question. And I said, "Wait a minute,
Yeah. What really
I
happened? Yeah.
but well, I started to question like world history at that point. And I said,
Yeah.
did this? Who was last at that battle? I mean, oh, that's what he wrote. And I said, I think it's important for my kids, for my sanity, to just write down what I thought and what I saw.
Yeah.
And that's really what inspired it. That triggered it. And I said, it's just, I just, it's human nature. If you tell somebody a joke, by the time that joke gets to the third or fourth person, it's a completely different
It's a
joke.
completely different joke.
So
Right.
that's what started it. And then, like I really did not want, like we were discussing a little earlier about the negative parts of the Rascal experience. I kind of left most of that out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
who really wants to hear that stuff? I mean, that's kind of like hearing like, all the nasties, the things that happened. So I only did a short period about the Rascals, actually, and I spent a major time with my teacher, my guru, and a major time with my youth, and what we discussed earlier about how it happened and all that stuff. Because I think that there's a message here in each other's lives that we can kind of learn from, if nothing else, just to keep your eyes open and watch what happens.
Exactly right. And that's what you need to do, because sometimes we try to over predict and over create, and you just got to let it ride and let life happen oftentimes, right? Because sometimes you can try to micromanage and then you end up going in a completely different direction.
And you hit a wall.
You hit a wall. You
Yeah.
hit a wall.
There's a lot to be learned if people want to really learn from the
Yeah.
masters, and
Right.
certainly, like the older you get, the more you realize, oh wow,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done that.
Or should have taken that step. Got a
Right.
cool shot here we dug up. I believe that's with Joe Namath, huh?
Oh yeah.
When was this? Tell us about this one. That's cool.
Well, you see the gentleman in the middle there. He's a drummer.
Yes.
I had a group in the '70s called Treasure,
Hmm.
which had Jack in it. His name was Scarangella, and Vinnie Vincent, who became part of Kiss, et cetera, et cetera.
That's right.
Well, Jack had an interesting life. His dad was a sports announcer,
Ah,
and he had a sports program. In the early versions of podcasts, he knew everybody in the
yeah.
sports world. He knew everybody because a lot of athletes want to be musicians, and a lot of
Yes.
musicians want to be athletes. We kind of
Yes.
admire one another. So anyway, that was Joe. Joe Willie was a good-looking guy in those days, my man. Yeah, yeah, he was something. He was something else. And there they are, these guys. Oh yeah, look at this crew. This is Motley
Yeah.
Crue number 2. Yeah,
Yeah. Huh? Tell
yeah,
us
that's
who
during
we're
that
seeing here
Once
for the
Upon a
audience.
Dream. Yeah.
Tell us the names of the guys for the audience here.
Well, you got Dino Danelli,
Yeah.
stage left. Felix, Steve Van Zandt, Eddie Brigatti, Gene Cornish.
Cool. Really cool. It's and did you guys, stay in touch, chatting, everybody still chatting with each other, catching up on each other's
Well,
lives here and
yes and
there?
no, yes and
Yeah.
no, yes and no.
Yeah.
A long story, but I wish I could say yes, 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 but I can't. It's not. I'm really a little disappointed in the aftermath of the tour there, of the group there. I'm just really not happy that we didn't, kind of keep, that relationship that we developed when we were on stage. I think on stage we're okay. It's off stage where we fall apart.
Yeah, everybody has their own vision or their own ideas, I guess, of direction and where we're headed, what we should do next, sort of. Um, and that sort of comes into play a little bit along the way. Look
Well,
at
it
that.
is also there's also like, some people like to work and some people don't.
Right. Yeah,
Exactly.
to cut to the chase,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, some people are ambitious and some people are not.
What would you say now, Felix, to the guy in that
Uh,
photo of then? What you know now, what would you say to him then?
Boy, I wish I had my hair back.
Yeah. You know what a lot of people say when I ask that question? I don't always ask it, but it's just if we have a photo sort of like that, they'll say something also, in addition to the hair or whatever,
Yeah,
they'll
sure.
say, I would tell him to relax and it's gonna be okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people will say to themselves, a younger version of themselves, because when we're younger, everybody, it's like, I got to do this, I got to make it, I got to go, we got to come on, let's go, bah, 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 bah. And then wisdom and time and experience comes in, and you can sort of chill a little bit and breathe. So you would say to the younger version of yourself, it's gonna be okay. You can breathe.
Well, unless you have a guru and he
See,
tells you
that
that.
guru coming in for you was really a very
Oh, yeah.
cool.
Because like I say, when you accept wisdom and knowledge, I mean, really accept it, not just, give it lip
Yeah,
service.
right,
You
but
realize, oh
really,
wow, is that I
yes,
get it. I
that's the
get it.
reason
And
why.
you learn so much, and it's so interesting because many of the things that he said, they're still here. I mean, I use them all the time in interviews. Like
Yeah,
uh, just a little aside, like, well, somebody said, "Well, was that good?" And I said, "Well, what's good and what's bad?" He used to say, "Well, you take electricity. Is it good or bad?" He says, "Well,
mm,
if you plug your iron in, it's good. You plug your finger in, it's bad."
then it's a problem.
So this
He's right.
philosophy, evenness, this kind of like tranquility that these people have.
Yeah,
You get that wisdom just by watching. They say, "Wow, man, I wish I could be like that,"
to be like
because
that.
you just kind of
Yeah,
float. Yeah,
he really changed your life in such an
yeah, he did. He did,
extraordinary
and a
way.
lot of other
Yeah,
people's lives as well. I
as
just got
well.
off the phone with one of the people who kind of stayed in the whole genre and he works full time at an ashram in New Jersey.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
it's a way of life, and it really, really, really makes a difference. It really does in your mental, physical, and spiritual health.
And then you could put your hands up and say, I'm here. Let's go.
Uh, it's
I
like
just
it's
saw
like
the
what,
guru.
what's
I'm
his
ready to
name
go.
said, Elton John. I'm still standing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you follow? I had an opportunity to interview also on public television. People like Deepak Chopra and some of the others. Do you get into some of their teachings and things of that nature as well about life and
Yeah, but,
figuring out what life's
it's a
all
very,
about? And
personal relationship on both sides of the equation when you have a guru.
yes,
To
yes,
get philosophical, I mean,
no,
like,
so true.
he he doesn't have to take us on
Right.
because there's he really that's a big involvement on his part, and vice versa. So, the other people that are out there that are doing it, I acknowledge them and I pay
Yeah.
attention to them, but no, I've got my
You've
I've
got a
got my
specific,
guy. I'm
yeah,
good.
yeah,
And there's so much. I mean, if people are in the slightest bit interested, go on to the YouTube and look up Swami, Satchidananda. And the reason I say that is because the people who have kept his teachings alive, they did hundreds of videos. And their videos like maybe like 60 seconds, 30 seconds, and they'll really enjoy them. He's got some great stories, comical stories, and you'll get what I'm trying to
yeah,
convey
yeah.
very simply on YouTube.
It'll soak in real quick.
Oh yeah.
Very, very cool. Um, Performing all times hits, songs that defined a generation. That's a great. I love that graphic. That's a really, really cool one.
Mm.
And then we also have it's a list of some of the places that you're going to be touring. You're going
Oh,
all over the
great.
place. You got the Flower Power Cruise, like you said, in March, and then you're headed to several places in Florida as well, Niagara Falls and Maryland, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and this is really cool. The Legends Live, of course,
Right. That
with Mickey
starts there.
Dolenz.
Yeah. Well, a lot of these
Very cool.
shows have been canceled and postponed due to COVID.
Yes,
So I'm very happy to say they're still on the books. Like, for example,
they're
that
coming
Flower
back.
Power. They're
Yeah,
coming back, and I
right.
really hope they come back. I hope we've got this under control here for everybody's sake. A lot of
Yes,
people, as I say, in the entertainment world and
have
a
been
lot of
hit
other worlds
hard.
took big hits. Yes,
Yeah, in a
big hits.
way that right, exactly, that you could never have really imagined. I mentioned Mickey. How long have you guys known each other?
Wow, long time.
A great shot of the two of you.
Yeah, I knew all the fellows. The guys, the monkeys were very talented human beings. I mean, I knew them all. Peter Tork lived in Connecticut while I was there, and Davy Jones. I don't know if people know what a fantastic comedian he was, and an
Davey?
actor, of course. He
Yes,
was
yeah,
he could do all these accents, from like Irish to like English and Scottish and all that. He
yeah,
was really funny,
very
and
talented.
the Mike Nesmith, unfortunately, who just passed.
Just passed, yeah.
A lot of people don't know the contributions that he made. Uh, they should look him up. Very interesting man. Very interesting man.
And wasn't his family involved in the discovery of whiteout or
That's
something
what I
like that?
heard.
Yeah, it was some sort of a
But besides that, he had a lot to do with what we know as MTV.
that's right.
Which
Yes.
no one knew he had. I think was it Nickelodeon. He used to do videos for. He was.
Yes.
Well, that's pretty cool, man, because
Yeah,
it's a major part of our culture now.
that's right.
And wow, you
It's
know.
been cool.
But
Yeah.
Mickey, he's a piece of work, man. Let me tell you.
A real firecracker, huh?
Well, we that shot that you took there, we were doing like press for. I don't know. That might have been from the ship. That might have been like live on board one of the ships. Yeah, that we do cruises together. But you can see, just look in his eyes, and you see we're in trouble. He's a funny guy, man.
Yeah.
He really is, and I hope he's okay. Losing all his mates like that's tough.
Yeah, that's
That's
right,
a tough
exactly.
thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You form these bonds and their friendship, and I know it's when you look at all of this body of work. I mean,
Mm,
you're still out there. You're doing it. You're
yeah,
still performing. You're still connecting. You're still spreading that sunshine and
yeah.
phenomenal music, my friend. What are some of those blessings and joys that continue to sort of inspire you to keep doing what you've done so well all these years, Felix?
You know, most of the people that I know from the so-called old days, the English invasion, et cetera, with the Beatles and Stones, and they still love to do it. I did a tour with Ringo Starr, with All Star Band, you know, and you have to literally pull him off a stage. He just he
Oh yeah,
loves it,
yeah,
and he doesn't need to be on the road. I mean, he's very very well, but it's innate in our beings. This I don't know exactly if if it's because we have a desire to please, or if we have the desire to receive adulation. I don't know what it is. It's just that you want to be there. You
right,
want to play music, and we spoke about Nashville. The
yeah,
majority of the people that are living in this town doing something would rather be doing music.
exactly,
Yeah, it really gets you, and so why
yeah.
stop it? If you can and you do well, keep going.
If you weren't in the world of music, what would have been the backup plan? Was there something else that interested you that, you would have done? Because you've
I
have your
probably
hands in
would
all
have
these
been.
different areas of the industry too.
Yeah, I probably would have been in some form of medicine, some sort of healing, something like that, because
Yeah,
that's, as I say, that's
yeah.
genetically. But
It's
that wasn't in the cards, so I just do that as a kind of hobby now. I learn a lot about things, herbs, and my best friend's an acupuncturist, and Chinese medicine, and I just it's just interesting to me that I have that kind of interest in those
yeah.
subjects.
They're really cool. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. It's fascinating when we sort of realize different things about ourselves. With the book, and again, congratulations on it,
Oh,
Felix. I know
thank
it's
you.
been a labor of love. What do you hope people are left with when they read that book?
Same kind of feeling that we were talking about with the music, like this guy had a pretty good life. He's very happy, very blessed. And how did it happen? Well, let me show you. This is how it happened, and these are the steps along the way. And as I say, I try to really accentuate the positive, as they say in the music. The heck with the negative.
Right. Do you I imagine you like to, mentor young minds too, those who've been over the years coming up the ranks who wanna they've admired the Rascals, they admire you and all of your incredible work, and they wanna do something similar. Do you enjoy that, mentoring and or teaching those who are looking to do this kind of work?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
As I say, it's a lot different today,
Yeah, it is.
very different. And so it's hard for me to kind of give advice to people who have this phenomenal technology world, but it's all the same when it boils down to it. And when I would speak at music schools, et cetera, I just leave them with one word. First of all, you're not going to know what is happening. You're not going to know what's going to happen. You can just look for open doors and
Right.
go through them. Don't be afraid to go through them, because they may never open again. And the other thing I tell them is you don't all have to be on stage. I mean, there's a lot of things in the music world where you can do very, very well. I mean, one of the things, I mean, in the older days was commercials. I would tell people to go into advertising, and I would get letters from people who had done that and made a lot of money. Nowadays, you can make a fortune with the music for video games. No one ever knows your name, but your banker
Right.
does.
Yes, right, exactly. Music and the voice of the characters, voiceovers.
Yes, and
Have you ever
film.
gone into that area, voiceover
I
work?
I really wanted to, it's just, I didn't get the opportunities. I did a lot of work for Northwest Airlines with,
Oh, you did?
voiceover. Yeah, because the CEO at the time was a fantastic music lover, and so he tried to put me to work every way he could. I did a lot of commercials for him with other artists. He had me be part of the production of, let's see if I can even, Take Six, Tony Bennett, uh, Aaron Neville, who else? Four Tops, BB
Oh, yeah.
King, Mavis Staples. Yeah, and man, let me tell you, I had a blast. That
Mm,
was fun because it's a whole different thing, because
yeah,
you're doing a commercial. So
right,
the words were not what I did.
right,
We were involved mostly in the music.
in the music.
The company would do the words, they would sell the product. But the songs we would create to kind of emulate, like, for top song, or
Yeah,
uh, that was fun.
that's so cool,
That
really
was fun.
cool.
I don't know. I guess I hope I touched on that. I hope I did because those years were really magic.
Mm. I want to just show you some of the levity coming in from the viewers who have been commenting throughout the show. Linda Odell is in St. Augustine, Florida. Good evening, Mr. Levity. Good evening, Levities. Hope everyone's having a great day.
Good.
Thank you, Linda. Christine Clifton in North Carolina. Felix, welcome to the
Oh,
JMS
thank you.
Live this evening. So great you could join us. Hi, Jim and Levities. Let the levity begin. Absolutely. We talk about that all the time on the show. Maureen in Arizona. Greetings, Jim and Levities everywhere. Hope you all had a terrific Thursday. Cool in the desert. She's in Arizona. Got to do a lot of work in the yard. Therapy, love being outdoors. Thank you very much. We love that, Maureen, for those comments coming in. Crystal Nolan is in Connecticut, where you once lived. Hi, Jim and Lovelace. Happy Thursday. Hope you had a fantastic day. Looking forward to this show, of course. Inspiring conversation and, of course,
Great.
levity. Thank you from Crystal. And Merlin in Canada saying hello to everybody. She's in Ontario. Let's see a couple more. We'll squeeze in a couple more that are sliding in here. Everybody's commenting with all kinds of great things there. Thanks, Lovities. We appreciate this. Linda says, welcome, Felix, to the Lovity Squad show.
That's great.
Merlin in Ontario. Hi, Felix. Welcome to Lovity Hall. You're now a Lovity.
So hey, there you go.
You're a Jim
Well,
Master.
Jim, thanks. I enjoyed being exposed to your wonderful audience there. It's pretty cool.
My pleasure.
I noticed you have a lot of ladies out there. That's very, very cool, my man.
Kathleen in New York City, your old stomping grounds. Hi, Jim. Hello, my lovely family. Hope you're all well. Absolutely. All coming in here. Maureen says, welcome to Lovely Hall. Felix, thrilled to have you here as Jim's special guest this evening. Love nice. Groovin', Linda Odell, of course. And a few more coming in here. Crystal in Connecticut says, hi, Felix. Welcome to Lovely Hall. Kathleen says, hi, Felix. Terry Ann says, hello, great. Everyone. Couple more sliding in here from everybody. Thanks for all of these fantastic. Alan Freed was my hero way back then. From Merlin. Terry Ann says, welcome to JMS Live. And a few more coming in here. Thanks, gang, for, you guys have been posting away. And don't forget, if you miss any opportunities to post live, gang, you can comment on the YouTube channel as well underneath this episode. Marty Thompson, who lives in Nashville, great supporter and fan of our show, originally from Australia. He's called the Aussie Crooner. He goes, good day, Felix. What a legend you are. It's a beautiful morning, and Groovin' are a couple of my favorite songs from the 60s, I believe. The song that take you on a tropical beach somewhere. And thanks. He's thanking you for all of this incredible music, which I think
got the feeling. Absolutely.
He got
that's wonderful.
Yeah, he got the feeling, which I think is really, really fantastic. And a few more coming in here. Everybody's just saying hello to everybody. Mm-hmm. And Toby says, hi, Felix. I met you through Robbie Robinson.
Excellent.
Robbie was a guest on our show recently. He's another class act, huh?
Good man.
Yeah, really.
Good man. Hello there, Toby. Yeah, good I just heard from him. Yeah,
Robbie's
take me back in time when life was simple and music was better. Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. Wasn't it though? Yeah.
Yeah. Lawrence Juber was on recently too. He was fantastic. Maureen says, these photos take me back in time when life was simpler and music was better. Yeah, really
interesting.
Yeah, and you got some hellos coming in from Sweden. Hello, everyone, and Jim, and welcome, Felix, from Jane in Sweden.
Sverige.
Yes, and Cafe Tiburon is in here. Hello as well, and this is cool. Really, really love this. Toby says, the Rascals and the Cowsills are my first LP records that I ever bought. Very, very cool.
And they're another good group of folks.
Is any of the Rascals music being re-released on vinyl? Is any of that coming back that way, or any of your material?
I really don't think so at this point. I don't know. I wish I could say yes, but the relationship that we had, with the business people over in Atlantic, these people that are there now, they weren't born when we made our music. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's a whole other world. I know. Mm-hmm. Cool stuff. And we love this. Yeah. Thanks for all these great comments. You guys are really, really fantastic.
A great audience. That's
ask Felix, when he sees a 45, does he think of those little yellow inserts to play it on the turntable?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I say this on stage, so I might as well answer that question,
Yeah.
in the old days, people didn't know, we certainly didn't know that this side of the 45 sold exactly the same amount of records as this side of the 45. No one mentioned that to us.
They didn't. Yeah.
So, again, this is part of my show, but it's true.
Yeah.
Many years later, a gentleman comes up to me and welcomed me with a humongous kiss, like a Bugs Bunny style, And I said, What is that for, sir?" He said, "Well, it's changed my life." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, you put my song on the other side of Good Lovin'." He said, "I made so much money, and next thing I know, Wilson Pickett is doing it. It's number one on R&B charts. Next thing I know, it's in movies." And I say this because I introduced a song. You know what that song was? It was Mustang Sally. So, things like that.
Yeah.
Sure, I remember 45s with the inserts.
Wow. That's see, for those of you who didn't know, you learned something new once again here on the show. Marty in Nashville goes, your royalty check must be awesome on a Beautiful Morning, as I've heard it on so many commercials. It has been used on a lot of different
Yeah. And it's interesting
commercials.
because that song was not a number one song, it was a number two song. We were kind
Yes.
of shut out, by what is it? The Mamas and Papas. But this just shows you that there's really not a really lot to say about number one songs. There's kind of like a political motive on a lot of them. But yeah, there's the longevity of that song is amazing. It really is.
Maureen says,
Oh,
Felix, your
thank you, sweet.
music
I
has made the
appreciate that.
world a better place.
Well,
And
boy, we really need that now. Let me tell you, we need to kind of all get together and just send positive energy, especially to our lady friend over there in Sweden and the rest of the world.
all the
They're feeling
rest.
this a lot more than we're feeling this because they're right next door.
They're right there. They're in
They're
Europe
right next door.
where it's all
So we need
right.
to send those positive energies. I really strongly believe that the world can be affected by positivity, and if there's any a time that we need to do that, is now.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Um, what else would you want to do that you haven't done yet? I mean, I know that one, I want to make sure that I hit on this. You have all of these incredible accolades. I mentioned Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Mhm.
Vocalist Hall of Fame, the Grammy Hall of Fame. But I think and you're honored by them and it's very touching and meaningful. But I think if I did my research right, the one that really just personally for you that really touches you at a deeper level is the Songwriters Hall of
Exactly.
Fame.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's not televised. Second of all, there's no museum, and the fraternity there is pretty small and pretty monstrously talented. So I'm really honored to be part of that. I had tears in my eye when they told me that I was inducted into going to be inducted into that was as a big moment to me because if you look back at music, even classical, any type of music, the composers, they're the people who really make the difference, with these magnificent songs that have stood the test of time, and to be part of that, it just really touched me. Yeah.
Mm. Right. The Four Seasons and the Rascals. I
There you
love
go.
that. Yeah,
And
that's a
what about
cool.
Bruce? Now, come on, Bruce is out of there
Oh,
too now.
that's
Don't forget
right.
Brucey. Bruce and the E Street guys, and yeah, very, very interesting state, New Jersey.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And just a couple more coming in here. Really cool stuff. So the book, they can get it. Is that at Amazon? Can they get that at
It
Amazon?
will be, right now it's just in my website, felixcavaliermusic.com, and then there's a new thing coming out, I think it's April 14th, it's called, Talk Shop, TALK Shop, that,
Oh, that's cool.
the publishing company Ingram is helping me out with, so that'll be, on a podcast, and I'm sure they'll sell it there. It's different because of the fact that a lot of the bookstores haven't opened up the signings yet. We
Yes.
can't really do that, so we're really relying on word of mouth, word of internet. Thank you, Sherry. All right, Miss
She's in
Morrison.
Kansas. Yeah,
Yeah,
Kansas,
yeah.
USA. Really loving it. So, and congratulations on the book from Kathleen and New York
Thank you.
City. And do you ever get back to the East Coast? I know with touring, but do you still have family back east?
Yes, I try to get back. We've had a little bit of a delay,
with
with the
everything
COVID.
going on?
We haven't really been able to travel as much, but I always try to get back. Yeah, I've got family still in Long Island. I still have family. A lot of them have moved south. They've moved to
Florida?
well, they moved to mostly Georgia and Tennessee and Florida, and they're just getting away from that wonderful cold weather up there. But it's still home, and home will always be home.
Chris still in Connecticut says, "Thank you, Felix, for sharing your story. I hope to see you in concert someday. I'm going to buy your book and music. I wish you continued success. God bless you." Chris still in
Thank you. Same to you,
Connecticut.
Crystal. That's very sweet. Yes,
Merlin
thank
in
you.
Ontario, Canada. Thanks, Felix, for being here. You take care and be safe. And
Amen. Amen. And right
yeah,
back at you. That's important. We all be safe here. We got to
that's
pay
right.
attention to our world.
Terry Ann says, "Thank you, Felix, for all your wonderful songs, being a guest here. God bless you as well." Maureen, again, the world a better place, and your music will be treasured
Thanks.
for generations to come. And Isigari, watching in Barcelona, Spain, says hello, Felix, as well from Barcelona. That's
Ah,
love
mucho
coming
gusto,
in.
señor. Yes,
Coming in. Yeah. Some really beautiful comments coming in
señor.
here.
I did couldn't see. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know the profile photos are small, aren't they?
that's okay. My eyes are small too. I don't see as like I used to see, but that's okay. I got the feeling. Thank you.
Somebody that's always with us, Felix, that always likes to just say what he thinks of the conversation. We don't call these interviews; we call these conversations. Mr. George Burns is with us this evening.
Hey, Georgie.
Ever have an opportunity to work with him?
We did.
You did.
Yeah, I put, in the book, I decided I was going to put a page together of all the people I've had the pleasure of being on stage with or being on a show with. You
Yeah.
go back to Bing Crosby, man, and we
Bing
a long
Crosby,
time.
yes.
Yeah, Bing Crosby, Dean
Andy
Martin,
Williams.
Andy Williams, we did, yeah, and Mr. Burns, yeah.
Yes, to
I
George
mean,
Burns.
we as I say, we met so many people, even backstage at the Sullivan Show. A lot of these folks,
Yes.
and I
Yeah.
mean, legends, unbelievable. Steve Allen, Buddy Hackett.
Oh, yeah.
There's quite a few beings out there. Ronnie Spector, as we
Ronnie
mentioned, and
Spector,
you
yeah.
know Eddie Money. All these people that's no longer with us. Robin Williams. Jimi Hendrix. It's just great. Well, I guess when you're fortunate enough to have met as many people as I've met, you go back. Never met Frank.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I never met Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
So I missed that.
Tony
Uh,
Bennett, yes.
Same with I met Tony, but I never met uh, yes, I know that, we spent some time over there, and that was one of the places in the world. We're talking about Sweden. Boy, I hated to leave there.
Yeah,
You
huh?
just take a look around, and with all due respect, the women was so beautiful. I just said,
Beautiful.
"Why don't I
Yeah.
just stay here? This place is gorgeous. Oh my goodness."
Of the places, many places, you've traveled around the world. What are some of the favorite places that you've been to and some places that are still on that bucket list for you, Felix?
Well, Hawaii is one of the favorites. And I still wanna make it to Scandinavia in the summer. I've always gone in the cold weather. I had people in Norway that, I went to visit, and whew, you know, so I'd like to try Scandinavia in the summer. I really would. And unfortunately, I've never been to Australia. We didn't get there, and that's another place that I would like to see. I've got a lot of friends from there, and, if there's a bucket list, I'd like to get on that bucket list.
You've been to Italy?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, we toured most of Europe, and as I had a chance to do some of Asia. I did China, I did Japan. I'm a Sagittarian, so I really do like traveling,
You like the traveling.
and I get a chance to see, classmates and fraternity mates and, people in the music business, and, uh, I'd like to keep going if I could. Hopefully, our world will open up so we can kinda travel a little bit more free
Yeah.
and, not have to be in such fear of what's gonna happen next. So
And
we're
fear of
really
each
praying
other.
for our
Yeah.
world right now. We're this is really a serious time we're in, and, I mean, I hate to bring it up, but I can
Yeah.
only think of our parents and what they went through,
Yeah.
years and years ago when they had to face this issue times 10.
Yeah, I mean, you've experienced a lot of different things in your life, as many of us have. How do you rate everything that it seems like when there's one thing that happens that's big, the next thing that happens is bigger. And it's just like you can't take a breath from the last thing you just
Mm.
endured. And here's that next thing coming. Things are coming faster now. Do you find that?
Well, it's just like we were talking about earlier. We'll be all right.
Yes, right.
We're gonna be
Exactly.
okay. But I mean, in
That's
the
right.
meantime, it's the kids and the grandkids that I'm concerned with. I mean, like I really am. I'd like them to have water to drink and
Yeah,
air to breathe. That would be nice.
that's a
Just
plus.
just simple
Absolutely.
things like water and air, you
Yeah.
know, would be nice.
And good music like you've provided and continue to
Amen.
provide for all of us. Good luck with the tour, my friend. And folks can go to the website right there, gang, to learn more about everything, the book, the tour, the career. You are a gentleman. You are a legend. You're a class act. You're a regular guy at the same time. And it was really an honor and a pleasure to have an opportunity to chat with you. I hope we get a chance, maybe if I'm on the East Coast or I'm in Nashville or whatever. We break bread. I would love that. Really a pleasure to get a chance to know a
Well,
little bit
thank you, Jim,
more about you.
and I hope you really do that because,
Yeah.
you do know how to get in touch with me, so if you're anywhere near me, please let me know, and thank you so much for, allowing me to be around your wonderful, love folks there. The
The
Lovey
Lovities. Yeah. Huh?
the Lovities are really cool, and, God bless, man, and all of you out there. Be safe, take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
We'll see you.
I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, my friend, and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good luck with everything. And again, thanks for all the music thus far. And we look forward to much more from you, Felix.
Okay, Jim.
You take
Take
care.
care.
Bye bye now. The incredible Felix Cavaliere. Yes. Right here on the Jim Master Show Live. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, we call these conversations on our entertainment lifestyle talk show series, not interviews. The guests have no idea what the questions are. Sometimes I don't even know what they are. I like it to just flow. We connect and we bring all of you in as well, the love of the audience watching live from around the world. Thanks for the great love and the comments and really extraordinary. And we thank our very special guest, Felix, joining us here on the show. He really is a class act and a straight shooter. That's what I love. And he, still got a little of that New York in him, that New York feistiness, which I think is fantastic. They say you can take the New Yorker out of New York, but you can never take the New York out of the New Yorker. That is so true. We really thank him. He is the king of blue-eyed soul. He's still going at it. He's still touching souls with his music as he has for so many years. Again, he does it as a solo artist too, but of course, originally with the Young Rascals and then the Rascals, of course, and really extraordinary career. And the songs that you guys have been sharing and loving all these years stand the test of time. And when you have fun doing it, that's what translates, he has fun doing it. And he does it because it comes out of the heart and soul, and that's what makes the difference. There's a commercial side, of course, you got to sell records or you don't go anywhere. But, when you're doing it because it's just coming out of you and it's something that you love, you gotta run with it. And he certainly has. That is a really cool picture there, isn't it? It's like I like the way that is done. And we want to give credit that there's the credit there for that picture, Leon. And just some cool conversation, right? Really cool conversation. There is the book. Yes, make sure you grab that. And one more time, we'll give credit for that photo you're seeing there. Photographer of that photo that's on the cover of his book, Linda McCartney, 1967. Isn't that cool? And the credit, of course, goes to the McCartney family. I do want to let you know that tomorrow we've got an amazing guest as well. Lots of levity with renowned comedian and actor Randy Lubis. He's going to be here live on the Jim Masters Show. That is Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And you know who's going to be with us on Saturday? Chris Corman, son of comedy icon Harvey Korman. Of course, from the Carol Burnett Show and so much more, Blazing Saddles with Mel Brooks. Chris is a producer, and we're going to be celebrating Harvey, and of course, Chris, his son, and the wonderful relationship that they've had. He's going to be with us coming up on Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Then on Sunday, again, all these shows are live 7 days a week, celebrating progressive Irish step dance with the award-winning and renowned Trinity Irish Dance Company. They're going to be here on our show, which we cannot believe. Next week, Jeremy Stoll's going to be with us. He's starring in The Phantom of the Opera on Broadway, which he's been doing for a long time. Coming up in just a couple of weeks, my great friend Christine Ullman, who you know, vocalist for years, still is with the Saturday Night Live band, SNL, the Beehive Queen, acclaimed singer-songwriter. She's going to be with us here on the show as well. And many, many, many more guests from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, stage, comedy, culinary arts, child stars, food, inspiration. Talked a lot about that. We mixed in music and his career and what's upcoming with some good, positive, inspirational messages. Bet you didn't know he, has a guru. Isn't that really cool? Sherry Larson's here and she says, thank you, Jim, for another outstanding show. My pleasure, Sherry. Thank you for watching as well. I appreciate that. She's watching in Kansas. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe to it. There's no cost. It's that red button you see right there on the YouTube channel. The channel is Jim Masters TV. The show is The Jim Masters Show Live. And there's that red button. It looks like that. Just click that. And it lets us know you're enjoying our show and everything we're doing here and all the hard work. 7 days a week, over 600 episodes live 7 days a week. Tomorrow, busy day. I have 2 television shoots on location and then 2 radio shows to host. And then we're back tomorrow night with comedian and actor Randy Lubis. I want to take a look at just a couple more comments coming in here because you guys are really on fire. Terry Ann says, Felix, you have blessed so many people with your music. And for you to keep touring and singing is fantastic. I second that. Isigari says, gratitude, Jim. Moi, moi, salute. To friends from Barcelona, right back at you as well. Terry Ann giving congratulations to Felix on his book. Yes, it's a must. You're going to want to get the book. He was kind enough to share snippets from it. You don't want to give it all away because, you want to read the book and sink your teeth into the book. But he was very generous in sharing some nice details from the book as well. Marty Thompson says, one of the best shows ever. Jim, thank you. I appreciate that very much, Marty. I know you're going to be excited because Randy is on tomorrow. Randy Lubis, comedian. And I know you're going to love him. Thank you, Jim, for these beautiful memories. Thank you for having Felix on your show. The pleasure was all mine. I've always enjoyed his music over the years. I'm a big fan, and it's always on in our house and still on in the car and everything else. Yes, I have a CD player. I have a CD player in my car, and I love it. Kathleen Walker says, and I have a boombox, and I have a stereo system, and I have, all the digital stuff too. I have everything. I work in television, radio, stage and film. I have to have everything, but I'm not going to let go of the other stuff. I like to put that stereo on, and here's, the house, the music bouncing off the walls. There's something about it with those big speakers. Great show. Thank you, Jim. Kathleen in New York City. Thank you very much. I appreciate that as well. Cool stuff. Marty says, I can hook you up with a great touring manager in Australia. That is very cool, Marty. Yeah, let's connect on that, and I can relay that to Felix. Maureen in Arizona, what an amazing human Felix is. I know you got a chance. That's what we do on our show. We don't just talk about the book, the CD, and that's it. You get to learn a little bit more about somebody that maybe you've always admired. You always admired the music. And now you know the person and the people behind all the pleasure and all the entertainment. I think that's what's really cool. Very nice. God bless Felix. We're really glad you were here. Really, really cool stuff. I love it. You guys are the best. Thanks for all the great love and all the great comments and just pouring in here. And that's what we do here. Keep spreading the word about the Jim Masters Show Live. It's something pretty special. We do this like a television show, old school sensibilities of Carson and Cavett and the others with a modern twist, modern vibe of today. Crystal, you were wonderful with your comments today as well. Lovely Crystal in Connecticut says, good night, Jim and Lovelies. Thank you for another amazing show. You are very, very welcome. We appreciate that as well. And all the Lovelies are saying good night to one another as well. And Maureen says, I hope y'all have an amazing rest of your night and day, sending tight, lovely hugs to last for the weekend. Yes, you're headed to Palm Springs tomorrow. Nice. Really cool. And if you see John, tell John Jim Masters says he's welcome to come back on the Jim Masters Show live. We'd love to have John Lord Young was on our show. You know what's cool? If you're ever busy or, life gets in the way, you have the opportunity to watch all of the episodes in the archives here on our YouTube channel. That's right. We archive all of the shows, so you can see them right here on our YouTube channel. So if you'd like to see this episode again or anything else, you can see it again right here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Also, give this episode, we would love this. It really does help us. As we say, help share the lovity. Tell everybody you know about our series. We love that. But also give this episode on the YouTube channel a like. Click that thumbs up icon and leave a comment on the YouTube channel. When that happens, YouTube loves that just as much as we do. And we're able to blast that out all over the world, which is really, really cool. One more time, we thank Felix Cavaliere, originally with the Young Rascals and the Rascals, and then, of course, his own Felix Cavaliere's Rascals, legend extraordinaire, joining us here on the show. There's the Rascals, of course. And gracing us with some good, solid conversation, gang. That's what we do here. Thanks, all of the great comments that are still coming in. Have a great night. Love your friends. You too as well. This is for some people that watch our shows when they're not live. Well, they're all live, but when you watch them in the replay and the archives, when they say good night, that's the live audience commenting live. But, and relax. Yes, we're going to relax. We've got a busy day of television shoots tomorrow. Then we'll be back tomorrow with all of you, 7 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You like Jim Masters. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We love you back. We love you back. All right, gang, we're going to wrap. We always say, don't forget to smile. Yeah, don't forget to smile. Make sure you put a smile on your face. Listen to some of Felix's music. That'll make you think and it'll make you smile. We thank Felix for joining us here on the Jim Masters Show Live. There's the website to learn more again about the book, all the music, the touring, and everything else that's coming up. And a real honor and pleasure to have him here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Maureen says to all of you living in that deep snow, stay safe and warm. I think the middle part of the country, we're nice here. We have no snow here, but I think the middle part of the country, they got hit with some major snowstorm, right? I think Sherry, what were you saying? Almost 10 inches of snow. You had a snow day today or something. Marty Thompson in the house. We appreciate that. Also, some people have been asking about super chat, super stickers, super emojis, what that is. When the show is live in chat, you're able to do that. You're able to do super chat, super stickers, super emojis. That helps supports the series and all this work and all these episodes and everything to put the show and the series together. We appreciate those of you who have done that throughout our series, the lifespan of our series. We're coming up on almost 2 years now. In April, our show will be 2 years old already, which is hard to believe. And some 600 plus episodes later, live. But if you ever miss the opportunity to do it when the show is live, there is something, and some of you have done it, and we thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. You have done thanks. There's a little heart icon on the YouTube channel underneath all the episodes, and it's a little heart icon. And when you press that, you're able to support our series as well. And you can do that at any time. You can do it during the show. You can also do it after the shows are live. Just by looking at the YouTube channel, and all the episodes have that little heart there. And we thank you for those of you who have been doing that. Gary Troyer just did it recently. Terry Ann has done it. She just did it yesterday again. Thank you, Terry Ann, for your support of our show through super thanks on the YouTube channel underneath the episodes. We really appreciate that. Good night, Jim. Hope you're having a good evening. We certainly are. We love it. We love it. We love it. Good stuff. You guys are really terrific. Maureen in Arizona. Jim, you are simply the best. End of discussion. I like that. That's definitive. That is definitive. That is what I call wonderful bedside manner from lovely nurse Maureen. She says, end of discussion. Best medicine, the Jim Masters Show live. End of discussion. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We think about all of you who watch regularly. Some of you sort of weave in and out. You watch when you can once in a while. Some watch in the re-airs. Some, we get so many new people who are discovering our show. Some people just watch it quietly and we never hear who you are, or you leave comments on the YouTube channel. We love that as well. For whatever reason you're watching, if this series is inspiring you, entertaining you, making you laugh, making you think, whatever it may be doing for you, we are happy to know that. And we are very, very happy to know that. And it means a lot. Really. Thank you, Isigari. And thank you, Sherry, as well. All right. So this is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time till next time, which is tomorrow with, again, it's going to be a lot of fun. Randy's going to be in the house, comedian and actor, Randy Lewis. He's all excited. We've been chatting with him. And then again, Chris Corman is going to be with us on Saturday, son of legendary comedy genius and television icon, Harvey Korman. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then on, as we're kicking off St. Patrick's Day week, this is very special. The Trinity Irish Dance Company, they're going to be with us 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific this Sunday. This is very special. And then on Tuesday, from the Phantom of the Opera on Broadway, prolific actor and singer Jeremy Stoll is going to be with us on Tuesday. That's going to be really, really cool. So, and that's just a short list, gang, of incredible people. Glenn Scarpelli is coming back to the show. Yes. Did you know that? Glenn Scarpelli from One Day at a Time. He was with us about a year ago. He's been very supportive of our series. He loves all the levity. Glenn Scarpelli is coming back in just a couple of weeks to talk about more levity and some more cool things that he is working on, which we're very excited about. And a few surprises. A lot of cool people are coming on the show. We won't give it all away, but there's a lot of cool people that want to come on the show. So whenever you see that, the Jim Masters Show logo, you know you're going to have a good time with us. Be well, everybody. Thanks for being with us in this episode. Really a blast. And I thank you for all the time. We'll see you soon. We don't say goodbye. We say sláinte and cheers and see you later. Take it easy. Take care. Shalom. Ciao. What else? Auf Wiedersehen and everything else. But we don't say goodbye. We say we'll see you later. All right. Looking at some more comments coming in here. You guys are still at it. Thanks for being with us. This was awesome. Another wonderful 2-hour extravaganza. We'll see you in the next one, okay? They're not all 2 hours, but sometimes we just let it roll and we have so much fun with you. Sometimes the shows are shorter. Sometimes the shows are longer. We don't put a clock on it because, you know, sometimes some rare special things happen when we let it roll. And it gives us more time with all of you, our viewers, who watch and enjoy the Jim Masters Show. So many guests to look forward to as always. Love Glenn too. And I know you're excited because they reached a deal. The owners and the players, baseball season is going to be starting. Kathleen, they just announced that. Of course, you probably know already, working with the New York Mets. I'm sure you're very excited about that. I'm excited about that. So I guess we'll be coming for a hot dog soon. They're at Citi Field to see our team. Good stuff. All right. Thank you, Issy from Barcelona. We love you back. Beautiful Barcelona, Spain. I have not been to Barcelona. Yes, finally play ball. I know. We cannot have a season without the baseball. We got to have that, right? The greatest American pastime, the crack of that bat. I used to play baseball. I played baseball in school, and I was in right field. I have a strong arm, and I'm left-handed, so you always want to put the lefty in the right field because, you know, especially I have a little bit of an arc. Usually, if I haven't tossed a ball in a while, and I pick up a ball, you know, like a baseball or something, or even a football, and I throw it, it usually has it's always high, way high, and then comes down. couple of times it's high until the arm gets in the groove, and then it starts lowering. But it comes from, being in the right field and having to shoot it high, to the infield. And also, it has a little bit of a curve to the right because, again, being in the right field, you want to get it where it needs to go. So it goes high and curve. If somebody just tunes in now, they're like, what is he talking about? High and curve in the beginning until my arm warms up, and then it starts to lower and get, more straight on and more direct. End of discussion, like Maureen said, right? Sherry Larson says, nothing better than the sound of the wood back cracking. Yes, and we're going to have that. We need that. We need everything, right? We need a good summer this year, a good summer. And we're coming into spring soon. Right now it's 38 degrees Fahrenheit here on the East Coast in the New York, New England area. Kathleen Walker, thumbs up. She's excited. Sherry says, yay. And all of you guys are the best. You guys are always here. There's some lovities that come in and out and they drift in and out, but this lot that's here, you guys are tried and true, no matter what else is happening, what else is on radio or TV or internet. You guys are always here. And I've paid attention to that. You are the loyalist lovities. You really, really are. And I just think it's fantastic. Yes. He was in the little screen down below waving. He had a great time. And so did we. And I'm glad you guys did too. Thanks, gang. All right. So once again, we're going to say see you later. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for everybody who's still watching right now, hanging with us. We always have a good time. We'll see you on the next one, okay? Love you all. Be well. Take care. Love one another. And we'll be waiting for you right here. Like Richard Marx saying, I'll be right here waiting for you. Remember that 80s song? Wherever you go, I'll be right here waiting for you. Smiles from Issy and Barcelona, Spain. That's one place I need to visit. I haven't been to Barcelona yet. All right. But we've been here with you. See you on the next one, gang. Be well. Take care. Love one another. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Jim Masters Show. But the comments keep coming in. That's why I'm stalling. Yeah. Smiles and trying to acknowledge everybody that's coming in here. All right. That's a wrap. End of discussion. As Maureen said, we'll see you on the next episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. Spread the word. Tell everybody about our series. You've been doing it, and we thank you. You've been sharing it on your social media. We've been seeing that. Those of you who take the time to do that, you are the loyalist lovities. We thank you so very, very much. We have a lot of plans, a lot of surprises, a lot of cool things we're working on. We have since day one, as the show continues to expand and grow and add new features and great guests and a lot of cool things. We try to work as hard as we can, and hopefully it's paying off and you guys are enjoying what we're doing here. So with that, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time till next time. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care, be well, and cheers.